Hi guys, welcome back to the Southern Scouser. Wow, Liverpool lose again. Sixth home defeat on the trot. We've lost at home to Fulham 1-0, and I'm really now struggling to back Klopp anymore. We've got the Unity as strength banners above the stadium. A couple of weeks ago we had Jurgen Klopp, "You'll never walk alone" on the gates outside Anfield. But how long is this tether? How long can you hold on to previous successes? It's exactly like the Dortmund scenario, isn't it? He won a couple of league titles, he got to a Champions League final, but in that season after, loss after loss after loss after loss, and it gets to a point where you cannot anymore back this manager on previous successes. You have to act in the here and now. And for me, he makes 7 changes today, and not one of them players out there looked like they wanted it. None of them wanted to play for the manager. None of them looked like they wanted to put any effort in. Really, I'm trying to think of any player on that pitch that was better than a 6 out of 10 in terms of player ratings and an average score. I can't think of any. I mean, even Jota came in, didn't wasn't really effective. Had one decent effort on goal, a good volley, but a good save from Areola. Shaqiri was non-existent. You've got no Firmino, who's injured, and Origi doesn't get a minute. So our backup striker isn't even good enough to play in a game that we're losing at home to a bottom three team when our first choice striker is not even available. So why is he here? When will Origi play if he doesn't come on today as a sub? What's the point in him being there? We bring on Trent and Fabinho. So the Nico Williams experiment hasn't worked. We need a goal, so we put on a holding midfielder back in midfield to win the ball back, and giving it to strikers that can't hit a barn door currently. So I mean, looking at the lineup, Alisson in goal, Robertson, okay, fine. He goes with a back two of Phillips and Reece Williams. When's the last time Reece Williams played a game? I don't think he's played a game since the Man United FA Cup tie. Suddenly he's chucked back in the deep end. You've got Nat Phillips and Reece Williams, who are both not at the quality. We know, you can sometimes get away with one of them next to someone with a bit more experience, which he's been doing. All right, it's not particularly worked very well, but in terms of logically, you'd think, oh, a Henderson or a Fabinho alongside one of them isn't too bad. But playing both together, that's the first time I've seen that in a league game where he's played two, of those type of centre backs that you wouldn't expect to see in a regular Liverpool season. So for me, that rung alarm bells. And then he plays Nico Williams as well. So I thought he'd make some changes today. In my prediction, I went with Jota starting, which I got correct. I went with Chamberlain to start, who today didn't get a minute. Klopp's interview after the Chelsea game was, "Oh, Chamberlain's been looking really good in training. I have to show that I noticed that. I have to show I recognise that. I put him on, and I think he did all right when he came on against Chelsea. Suddenly, he's dropped from the entire team and doesn't even come on as a sub. Where's the logic? If Chamberlain's been improving and showing good stuff in training, and you want to make 7 changes, how is Chamberlain not one of those changes? It's just bizarre. You chuck Cater in, nothing. Wijnaldum played 90 minutes on Thursday, and he starts him again. So surely it was Wijnaldum's turn to be rested if you were going to make 7 changes. James Milner comes in and captains the side. Nothing. He's past his best now. Nothing there. Shaqiri and Salah. Salah didn't do anything and was at fault for the Fulham goal. Mucking around on the edge of his box with his facing his own goal. Wants to bring it down to run off onto a counter attack because he's selfish. Get rid of it. Clear the ball. Lamina sneaks in. Good finish across Alisson, and as soon as that goal goes in, it's got to the point now where you know what's going to happen. You know what's coming. Liverpool haven't scored a goal in open play at home for nearly 12 hours. I think it was the West Brom 1-all game. I think that's the last time we scored a goal in open play at home. What's going on? I genuinely believe that this team have decided that they don't want Klopp in there anymore. It's got Jose Mourinho Chelsea vibes, isn't it? Or even at United, it's just everything's come to a point where there's no logical explanation. All right, we're missing a few players. We've made 7 subs, but this Liverpool team on paper is better than that Fulham team, isn't it? It's Josh Maja and Ademola Lookman getting in the Liverpool squad. They're not, are they? But Cavallero, but they look so much better than what we have. I don't know where to go with it anymore. You look at the bench. Thiago doesn't come on. Curtis Jones, who only played an hour on Thursday, suddenly doesn't get a kick today, and he's been our best player for the last month. You need a goal, so you're bringing on a right back and a centre defensive midfielder that's been playing centre half for you for the majority of the season. I think Klopp's lost the plot. I mean, I love the guy. He's done wonders for this team, wonders for this club. We've won the league, the Champions League, but since that league title was confirmed, it's been a slow decline, hasn't it? I've said in previous videos, we've been knocked out of the Champions League last 16 to Atletico, out of the FA Cup to Chelsea. Both, you could blame Adrian, but Klopp's brought Adrian in and he's chose to play him. League losses to Man City, embarrassing defeats. Watford, we've been battered after pitch. Aston Villa 7-2. There comes a point when all that good stuff is now equally measured with the bad. There's all right. We got a couple of trophies, fantastic. It was the best time, and every Liverpool fan will agree. But we've just lost 6 games in a row at home. I think I said in my last video, we've lost 7 of the last 13. We'll make that 8 of the last 14 with 3 draws. When does this run end? We've got Leipzig in midweek in the Champions League second leg that I've mentioned. I wouldn't put it past them turning around a 2-0 lead as well. I mean, how can you have any confidence in this team to maintain that lead? We're 2-0 up. Leipzig need a couple of goals, and when we go to extra time, if they score, they're through, because we would then need 2. I don't see us scoring another goal. Who's going to score? I mean, other than a penalty from Salah or something. But even that, I saw Michael Owen make this comment this week where he says, Mane feels a touch in the box, but rather than go down, he tries to stay on his feet because he knows if he does go down, then it's a goal for Salah. So it's like, is everybody at this club falling out of each other? Have they got to the point where they've worked their socks off for 3 years and they've all had enough of it? They all fancy a change of scenario, change of environment. I don't know, honestly, how can you back this guy anymore? I mean, I'm this close to Klopp out. It's so hard to say. Gerrard's just had the league title confirmed today with Rangers. As I said in my last video, he's not going to come into the club currently. Get to the end of the season, and if it's this bad at the end of the season, say we come 9th or 10th, surely you've got to look at Klopp and say, no, we need to bring in Steven Gerrard now. We need to make this change. We need some new energy, some new fresh ideas, because the same tactics don't work. It doesn't matter what, as I said before, it doesn't matter what players you play, whatever kind of formation or personnel, if you try and win in the same way that hasn't worked, it's not going to suddenly work. So every single team that comes to Anfield now knows exactly, oh look, Brighton won here, Burnley won here, what did they do to win? And let's just do that. Oh yeah, it worked for us too, because Liverpool do not change their approach. They just play the same every single minute of every single game, and when it doesn't work, they don't change it up. They play the same style and nothing works. So, honestly, where do you go with this result? 7 subs, 7 changes to the team. As I say, I expected a couple, but surely if you're bringing on Jota and Chamberlain against Chelsea and they do okay, surely they both start. If you're already weakened by having to play, make a couple of changes, don't enforce more. Curtis Jones didn't need to not be played today. All right, drop Thiago or Wijnaldum, but play 2 of the others. Did you need to, all right, Firmino's out injured, so did you need to drop Mane as well? You didn't, did you? Did you need to drop Williams for Trent? All right. Eventually, you do need to rest some players, but what's more important? Going through against Leipzig and then getting battered off the park by another team, or trying to get top 4 for next year when we've got our full strength team back, some new transfers, and are in the Champions League again? We're not going to get either, are we? If we do scrape through Leipzig, we're out in the next round. And you look at the Premier League table now. We're sitting in 7th. We're 2 points behind West Ham. They have a game in hand over us. We're 3 points behind Everton. They have a game in hand on us. We're 4 points behind Chelsea. Same games played. Spurs are a point behind us with a game in hand. Aston Villa 3 points behind us with a game in hand. So they can go level with us, even though they've been in shocking form as well. They've lost to Sheffield United. We're not going to come in the top 4. We're not going to come in the top 6 at this rate. As I say, where are the points coming from? So for me, I think you get to the end of the season, you see where we finish, because everything now, it's just for pride, really. I mean, any aim of any qualification for anything for next year is gone now. I was clinging on after that Chelsea game that maybe with a win today, with the unpredictable season that we're having, there's always a chance. But No, it's gone. Losing at home to Fulham after the run we've been on confirms top four is gone. Will top six be there? I can't see it at the moment. I think we're going to be coming, maybe seventh to tenth around that area. Best case scenario, we might not win another game this season, but it's not even about winning the next game or getting a draw. I can't even see where the next goal's coming from, which is the scary, scary thing. So, I mean, as I say, I'm on tonight on What Happened Football. We're going to discuss a lot of stuff over this weekend about the games that have happened, about where Liverpool feel that they are, where Klopp should be looking, because I know there's a lot of Klopp out already. I was clinging on to say no, give him time, give him a chance, give him the summer, but quite clearly, whoever he brings in are not playing for this manager anymore. They clearly are not wanting. Either his style isn't working, or they just don't want to be there. They don't want to play for him. Something needs to change. You know, the easiest thing to do, rather than get 7 players out and 7 players in, the easiest thing to do, and always has been, is to change the manager, isn't it? So many teams have done it. So many teams have done it where you wouldn't expect them to. You think Chelsea would be more loyal to Lampard. No, cutthroat. All right, he didn't have the win and the success of Klopp behind him. I get that, but you have to be cutthroat in this business. And if it's not working, as much as you love someone, you have to make a change if it's not working. I think still I wouldn't make a decision until the end of the season, because as unlikely as it might be, Klopp might go on a run and we might manage to finish with a bit of pride in this season. Okay, we might not get top four. We're not going to get top four, but if we show a bit of interest, a bit of pride, a bit of passion, and get a couple of good wins towards the end of the season, maybe you can say, okay, that season was just a write-off. Let's back Klopp in the summer. Let's really have a go at rebuilding this squad and go again next season. But if it just keeps on going like this week in, week out, and we don't get another win from now to the end of the season, can you trust Jurgen Klopp to bring in players and play this same style and same philosophy? Because it's not worked. It's not going to work again. Does Jurgen Klopp have the ability to change his approach to a match? He's going to bring in different players to suit this style. Well, 2, 3 years ago, this style worked, and it has worked up to this point, but it doesn't work anymore. So the team you've built around this particular style, this style doesn't work anymore. Are you a good enough manager to retrain this group of players into a different system and a different style that can work again in the future and get results? Or are you just going to keep on playing the same stubborn way that doesn't work, try and replace other players with different players, which we've clearly seen today doesn't happen? 7 changes. The defence was poor, but we only let 1 goal in. Again, the problem is up front. We're not scoring any goals still. Whether that's Salah, Mane, Firmino, Origi, Jota, Shaqiri, none of them score. So, for me, I'm this close to saying it. It's not quite, but a few more results like this, and I don't know where else. How can you back him anymore if this continues? I don't think you can. So for me, they've got to show a bit of pride and passion from now to the end of the season to give Klopp a chance of rebuilding this squad over the summer and going again next season with the injuries coming back. But for me, there's big wholesale changes in this squad that need to happen, and the way FSG are going, I see a change of manager being a lot easier to do and a lot cheaper to do than reinvesting in this 200 million pounds back into this team again. So for me, it's a watch this space. Leipzig in midweek, that could be a car crash, and then Wolves the following Premier League game after. So obviously I'll do a couple of preview shows on those, a couple of reaction videos, but I'm sure my opinion on Jurgen Klopp and this Liverpool team may get worse with the next results coming up. So keep an eye out for that, guys. I'll catch you soon. Take care.